pleasure to meet all at last, and welcome back to the Vlog-A-Thon 4.0. And yeah, here on the Vlog-A-Thon 4.0, I really do like to say that with everything that I've already done here, it's fair for me to say that since I've come this far, things are definitely looking up pretty well. And I'm pretty much getting a little more skilled with handling this entire thing. So you can pretty much expect me to do a lot of stuff here on the Vlog-A-Thon 4.0. But today's topic, or this topic in particular of this part of the Vlog-A-Thon itself, is pretty much going to be centered about a podcast series that I once had earlier this year called Happy Landings. If you're not familiar with it, then well, simply put, it's just what it is. Happy Landings was a short-lived podcast series that I had for some time, about 2 months in particular. Of course, one of the main reasons why was simply because, well, we were almost an entire month in as the pandemic had forced the economy to shut down for 2 months. And that's the lockdown period. That's the quarantine. Nothing since May has been a lockdown or quarantine. Nothing at all. If we did have a lockdown or quarantine like that, then well, the economy would have been shut down again, and all businesses and the like would have been screeched to a halt, just like that. But at the time, March, April, and May, or those times, those were the lockdown / quarantine that happened because of what the pandemic had been doing at the time. And a lot of people can argue that, well, it may not have killed enough people, but think again when you can refer back to the enormous amount of people that have died since then. Opening businesses back up all the time and all that good stuff have pretty much allowed the virus to really spread all over the country and all over the world in particular. It's a wonder why death tolls continue to rise up like crazy and more case counts seem to be adding up. But let's not forget, I'm naturally protecting against this virus. And I don't really know anyone else around here who might be totally immune to something like this. But as I've said before, the virus itself is pretty much none other than the likes of the combination of such conditions that we've already gotten, like SARS, AIDS, influenza, and a few more, perhaps. I'm more than sure of it that this virus itself certainly cannot do as much harm as many of those other ones will. And the main reason for that is because, well, even though it may have a different genetic makeover, and it may have a different look of some sort, and it may have a different build, that changes nothing, pretty much. Nothing ever matters more than the safety of our people, and that's pretty much just that. The virus is nothing. The people we have here certainly do deserve as much protection as possible from any virus of any sorts. This is pretty much a game changer in a way, but Happy Landings, of course, was pretty much one of my only ways of, well, pretty much escaping from this thing. And escapes are not real. Think about it. It's a wonder why Black Lives Matter is being printed all over basketball courts and the like. It's because reality never, ever stops to sleep. Unlike us. It never stops until it comes back to us. We can never truly escape it. That's the end of it. But to me, Happy Landings was something more than just a way of, well, deterring myself away from the drama and the BS that surrounded the pandemic itself. And with a lot of people suggesting that we get ourselves infected and get this whole thing over with, was just a stupid idea to begin with. But thankfully Happy Landings was there, and I was able to pretty much put in 57 different episodes worth of topics out there that I could possibly talk about. So realistically speaking, Happy Landings kind of did some of the work for me that the Vlog-A-Thon would have normally done. But I'm only coming back here on the Vlog-A-Thon in late 2020 when we're getting very close to 2021. It's pretty much because there's been a lot of changes that have happened since this past summer. Because we can never truly forget the fact that, well, For one, there have certainly been a lot of things that have come about, some changes that have been present for some time, and some that are just beginning to take effect, but we certainly will not forget the fact that this is not a dream. This ain't some sort of alternate reality. The virus is real, the pandemic is real, and all of us need to know that if we don't take action to it, if we don't do nothing, then it's a wonder why we could possibly end up like them. So, all in all, I will say that Happy Landings itself, being that it was in fact just a little podcast series of mine that I had at the time, from April, May, and June, there were certainly a lot of things that have happened during those times as well. Spring 2020 was a bit different than I probably could have anticipated for it, but overall, I guess I don't really know what else to expect. So, that's pretty much it that I got to talk about at this point, but if you want to see more, go down to my channel. Make sure that you like, subscribe, comment, follow me on social media, and stay on the Hollywood side.